to the Sports Mom Playbook.
Welcome to the Sports Mom Playbook, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes with real moms and industry experts for all things sports to help you start or make more use of your time on and off the field.
Get ready for this binge-worthy podcast with some special guest appearances. Laugh along and join us in what we love doing, celebrating the true MVPs of the game, moms.
Let's do this. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Sports Mom Playbook. This is our next episode, and we're going to be talking about the stresses of motherhood and balancing being a sports mom.
Very important topic.
Yeah, super important.
A lot to discuss.
Do you want to jump in and drive in?
So for me, obviously holidays are coming up.
Yeah.
And as in anything in life, there's always birthday parties, school homework, just general house maintenance that you have to keep up with on top of all the sports schedules.
Yeah.
And you know and I know that when we go away and do a tournament, we're gone all weekend.
All weekend.
There's not, and then when you come back Saturday, you're just wiped. And then Sunday, you could be playing at 8 a.m. and then 4 p.m.
We don't even know what we play on Sunday because we don't get the schedule till Saturday.
Right. So for me, it's really hard when people especially invite my son to birthday parties because now he is very well aware it's so-and-so's birthday. Right. But they all talk to each other.
Well, they do. Do your kids come home with like a piece of paper that says, call my mom? And it has like the kid's name and the kid's mom's phone number. And my daughter's like, here, mom. And I'm like, what is this for? She's like, call the mom. I'm like, but for what?
Right.
It's not a formal invite. It's interesting.
It's very interesting. And I always say this and I will stick by it, that my kids have a better social life than I do.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, their birthday parties, the sporting event, they have an active schedule.
All the fun activities from school,
right?
All of that.
So now I feel like I'm in a point in my life, especially with my son, because Callie doesn't really know. She's still 5, so she's
still little.
She's still little. She doesn't really understand a calendar and times. Grayson has a calendar and writes in, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday.
Yeah.
And it's been a really hard conversation to say, hey, bud, I'm so sorry. We have a baseball tournament. We can't go.
I know. It's so sad. I mean, Braden had the same thing. He had a birthday party actually this upcoming weekend, and we're going to be in Vieira at the Space Coast. And I told him, I was like, hey, bud, you're not going to be able to go to the birthday, but let's go still pick out a birthday present for your friend.
Right.
So still at least he can get involved and be part of it. But I know it sucks sometimes when you can't balance it all.
You can't balance it all. It's really hard. But I think it's just harder for me explaining to him, you can't do everything. And then he's getting to that point where he almost feels like he's missing out because I just feel like, I'm like, do they just know it's our, like, a scheduled weekend? It's like every time we have a tournament, that's when
the events are happening.
The events are happening.
Birthday
so it's
parties,
it's a little hard and challenging. So I told him, I'm like, I started doing this and I think this is like a good hack for parents and I just wanted to talk about it.
What's the hack? We love
hacks.
My
school does lunch. You can bring in lunch.
Okay.
So depending on the day of the week, you can bring in lunch for your grade. So
like for the whole class?
Well, for your kids.
Oh, for your kids.
So you write into the school.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm going to bring in lunch and you sit outside with your kids and you can bring in like Chick-fil-A or whatever. Grayson's, I think, is like Thursday. They all have like different days depending on it. So what I told him is like, hey, we can't go to this child's birthday. I know that you're really bummed about it. What if I do something special and I bring you both in lunch? Let me talk to his mom. And I brought them both in Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's
And we just had Chick-fil-A and I each got them like a little cupcake.
So that he can sing happy birthday.
Just so he felt
festive.
Yeah. And, it also
part of it,
makes him feel part of it.
That's really – I didn't even know your school did that. That's really awesome.
Does your school do that?
No. You can go check out your kid and have lunch with them in the little picnic tables, but I didn't know it was like an assigned day or anything like that. But I never thought of including that with a birthday celebration. I always would bring, hey, like, let's bring them a little gift. And then that was it. But I do feel like my kids feel the same way like Grayson does, that like they're missing out on some special things, whether it's like, can we go to Disney this weekend? Because we go to Disney all the time. And it's like, no, like we don't really know our schedule till like 2 or 3 days before. We just know the weekend. We kind of plan nothing, knowing it's kind of an unknown. And it also sucks not just for invites, but family events like my parents' birthday or my brother is coming into town to visit with his wife over the weekend, like stuff like that. Sometimes we can't be part of those things because it's sports and we have baseball or softball.
Right.
So it's hard.
And that's hard with the family dynamic because I also feel like they're like, well, what's it like? I don't understand how you don't know the schedule. Why do you only get it on Thursday?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if I knew that answer, I would literally have the schedule already done.
Locked down. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why it's that. I think that's like a great
question for like a tournament director.
Yeah, we need to get like a tournament director on here and be like, we would like to be educated as to why it's set up this way.
Yeah.
I think it's because in case anyone pulls out last minute, they can like manipulate the schedule.
Yeah.
It could be that.
It could be the number of fields, the number of teams that they have, I'm sure, playing, kind of all put in part of to that whole scheduling part of it. But I do feel like it's complicated. I feel like, those shirts that says, sorry, it's baseball, like I'm not available type of thing. I think that's real life. Like that is, and not everyone understands that. Like I have a lot of friends with kids that they don't do sports and they're like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, oh, I'm at the fields. And they're like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? I'm at the fields. It gets to the point where they like stop asking me what I'm doing because they know I'm at the field, know? So that part's hard. I think that was hard for me just adjusting to being a sports mom in general. Like I didn't really know how much of a time consuming thing it was until I was like in it. And it's not that I regret it. It's just hard. It's just hard to balance it all, between, like you said, chores at home, then you have work. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, not just with Sports Mom, but I own my own real estate brokerage. Like I have transactions, I have agents that I have to attend to, be there and available. So it's hard to balance it all. I don't even know
but you're also on call, I feel like 24/7 because I've seen you on the fields whip it out and you're like, I have to do an offer letter. And I'm like, what? Like,
I mean, it is true. And that's the part that's hard for me is that balance.
Right.
And finding out where those boundaries are. Because my real estate business is 24/7 behind the scenes. Not that I'm available 24/7, but there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes that I have to do it. If not, transactions fall through. My agents don't get the support. My clients don't get the support. So that part's just hard of balancing that. And there's so much behind the scenes. You wear the marketing hat. You're the finance person. You do it all. So
but that's also why you're successful because you are hands-on in your business. I think you're very smart at how you pick your agents and like the things you take on in your own business. So I think that it's, a true testament, but I also feel because you are your own entrepreneur, you can also have a little bit of access to your and flexibility to your schedule too.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel like this has been such a blessing to be able to be a sports mom, to be able to be flexible. Not everyone can come to practice at 4:30 or not everyone can go and start planning for the parties that we have for the teams and like start doing all of that stuff throughout the day to have everything set for later on that evening. I mean, I feel like it is a blessing, but it's just a lot. I mean, being a mom, it's hard in itself, but then adding that layer of a sports mom, like you're your kid's rock, you're your kid's therapy, you're your kid's nutritional, here.
It gets overwhelming. And I agree that to your point. And I think it's also really important to say as a mom, it's also okay to not have it all figured out.
Yeah. No.
Like some weeks are better than others. And some weeks I feel like I do feel very frustrated. And I'm like failing as a parent because I'm like, we just haven't gotten to the spelling words and it's Wednesday. You have a test on Friday. It's not always great.
It's not. I mean, I feel I live my life by just having grace, thinking of grace, not perfection. Like I'm not perfect. My life isn't perfect. My home isn't perfect. Just everything isn't perfect, but I have to just go about it with grace. And I think that's the way that I've tried to live my life. And that's been hard for me because I am kind of a perfectionist with a lot of things in life. So that part's really hard for me. And I want to be the perfect mom, but I'm not perfect. And I've learned that myself just as my kids are growing up. And I tell them like, listen, I know you want to be the best on the team, for example. And I know you want to try your very best, but it's okay to mess up. I feel like it's okay to mess up because you're going to learn from those mistakes and you're going to just grow stronger. If you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to improve. There's no growth. You're not thriving. You're just kind of just there.
Right.
And you're safe in your little bubble. So I always challenge my kids and I'm like, listen, you have to try better. You got to try harder. You just take your falls, learn from it and keep moving on.
Yeah. I remember when I first became a mom, I felt like I was really not doing great. I struggled with breastfeeding. I was, had a lot more weight. I just wasn't sleeping and you really start to doubt yourself. And I had somebody, it's actually Keaton's aunt was like, just so you know, he doesn't know anything. Like Grayson doesn't know anything else. So you could think you're chaos and like a hot mess express, but he loves you because you're his mom and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I sometimes have to remember that, we can't do all the things. And sometimes you just have to, some weeks, like I said, are just better than others. And you just got to take it with a grain of salt.
You got to. You know, if you left your kids' cleats at home, which I guilty.
Oh my
I've
goodness.
been there. You got to just be like, I'll drop you off and I'll go back home and get them. It was, it just happens. You can't put that stress. I feel like the more stress that we put on ourselves, like to make sure like the holidays are coming up, to your point, like, can we make it to all of the cookie events? Can we make it all to all the holiday stuff? Can we decorate the Christmas tree? Like, it's just too much. It's overwhelming. And then something's going to fall. And you have, and it's, you can't live like that. It's just not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your kids to see, because really we're leading by example, right? So if they see us stressed out and they see us all like in a frenzy, they're going to be like, oh, that's normal.
Right.
And it's not.
And to that point, like, so one thing I kind of did with my kids is I got them in the kitchen with me.
Oh, okay.
So I know you don't cook.
I don't.
And I love that for you.
I hate cooking. That is a note. Hate cooking. I'm an Uber Eats kind of girl. I mean, I can make some tacos, but that's about it.
So I like cooking. I also like, if I plan it out well, I do like to meal prep.
Okay.
Because it just makes during the week easier. Like when we get home from practice, I just know I'm just popping something in the microwave. Grayson knows how to use a microwave.
Okay.
Which I love that.
We love that.
And I got the kids in the kitchen with me. So when I am making dinner, they're seeing the ingredients and they're not as afraid to try food.
Which is nice.
Because usually kids, when they look at something, they're like, ew. I'm not trying. And now when they're, in a way, they're helping me make it, there's a pride level. So they're like, of course it's going to taste good.
Because I made it.
And I think it's helped out a lot because they're helping me prep. And then we're talking about, okay, well, what do you want to eat this week? It helps me too. I'll have Grayson sit down and I will like put the app on Publix and he like types the stuff in and like add it to the shopping list.
Okay.
So it helps with like spelling. Spaghetti was really hard.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard for me. Autocorrect. Thank you.
But it just, I think those little things help. And I think it's also important for the kids to be in the kitchen and learn that independence too.
Get involved.
Yeah. Because it's just beneficial no matter what age, and they're interested in doing it. It's not like I'm forcing them to do it.
No,
they
of course.
Want to.
And
so
they want to, and it's good quality time. So you're checking that off of their little like bucket list, right? Of quality time with mom. They're learning something new. They're building, learning responsibilities, learning like normal part of living. Like as you grow as an adult, you got to take care of yourself and feed yourself, right?
Yeah.
So question, when you do your menus, do you do it like, do you have a set day? Like every night's Monday night, for example, spaghetti, Tuesdays, tacos. Do you kind of just have like a little recipe book that you're just like, I'm just going to do this one for the day?
So I actually got them a recipe book that they, it has like pictures. So they like to look at it and stuff that interests them. And then usually Publix tells me what we're making.
Is it like whatever's on sale?
Whatever's BOGO. Publix will tell me. And I've actually been ordering Kroger.
Oh, that's
Kroger
the one that delivers.
Yes.
We don't have like an actual physical Kroger in Florida.
No.
Do we?
No.
Just I've seen the vans.
It's the delivery.
Okay.
So the first couple orders, people, when you sign up, you get $25 off.
Okay. Wow.
It's either like 2 or 4. We get $25 off. Their meat quality really isn't bad. Their produce is good.
I know they're big in Georgia.
Are they big in Georgia? I saw my neighbor like they were making a delivery and all of the trucks are refrigerated.
Nice.
So I don't know where they're coming from, but everything comes
it's warehouses.
Cold.
Yeah.
Everything comes cold. It's not,
Yeah.
So between both of them, whatever's on sale, that's what we're making that week.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it changes it up.
It changes it up. And I like that they also pick because I'm trying to get them away from, Callie would eat chicken nuggets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
My kids are mac and cheese.
Yeah. Grayson was mac and cheese when he was a baby, but they love the chicken nuggets. And I'm like, there's so much other stuff out there that we can have. And they're just, they like seafood. That's like the new thing.
Seafood.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wild Fork opened up in Lake Nona.
Okay.
And they love scallops. Like we went in there. It was actually pretty wild. They had like a suckling pig.
Stop.
Like a whole pig. Callie was like freaking out. She was like, Peppa.
Oh, poor
I was like,
baby.
It's not Peppa. Just don't look at it. Like, but they have anything you could possibly think of in one spot. So we actually got some stuff to try because we usually order that delivery. That's where Keaton gets his like briskets and stuff. Yeah. So good. The quality is good.
I didn't know that.
But they like seafood.
I love that. My kids are steak people. They like steak.
Yeah. I mean, they love steak. Grayson would also go to hibachi.
Oh, hibachi's always
He loves
fun.
hibachi. So then I started doing hibachi at home.
Stop. Listen. If we need to go to dinner, we go to Rachel's house.
It's fun doing hibachi at home.
How do you do hibachi at home?
I got like a wok. No, I don't have a hat. I should though.
That'd be so cool.
And then one of my friends got me like the cheese grater from Olive Garden.
Okay. Oh, like the one that you go like this?
Do you know that
Tell
you
me
can
when to
buy
stop.
It? Yeah. Do you know you can buy that from Olive Garden? They sell them.
Stop it. Really?
Yeah.
I know they sell like the dressing.
Cheap. Well, they sell the dressing, but they sell the actual cheese grater.
I didn't know that.
So the kids, because we'll always do like a pasta night, and I'll throw in like a protein, like I'll make meatballs, whatever. Callie loves to make like squish all the meat together, like I put gloves on her. She like does it.
Yeah.
But Grayson like goes he loves it, and they like. I mean, the cheese is like piled high, but it makes it as long as they're having fun, then they're excited to do it. And so for me. I wanted them to get in the kitchen and to like see the food and just understand the process. So at night, coming home from practice, it's also not a fight.
That's true. It does make it easier because coming home at night, depending on what time your kids come home from practice, like sometimes Arya gets home at like 9:15, 9:30. And I'm like, girl, did you eat? She's like, yeah, I had Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, again? Like, we love Chick-fil-A, but it gets to the point where it's like, if I smell another chicken sandwich, I'm going to like, I'm losing it. So she eats that. And I just like, kid, you need to have something with a little bit more substance.
Right.
So depending on like, I'll cook tacos. That's like the only thing I can make. So I do that one night a week. And then the rest of the night, I'm like, buddy, what do you want to eat? Let's like Uber like Chinese food. Let's get, whatever. But it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm not the cook. That's just never been my thing.
Yeah. You just need to bring Arya over. I think she would like it.
She loves cooking. That's the thing. Like, she loves watching cooking shows. She loves like recipes. She would love that. It's not a talent I have or desired to learn, to be honest.
Right.
So for me, it's more like I can bake you. Like, we can bake cookies and have like a baking party, but like cooking is just not my thing.
What's funny is I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't like baking.
I love it.
Because to me, you have to be more precise in your measurements.
I think that's why I love it.
Where cooking, I'm just perfect. Like, just add it in. Yeah, let's try it. Like, you're more free to like experiment. Where baking to me is more of the science. So if you add too much of something,
it's going to throw off the whole recipe.
Off the whole thing, and you went through all this effort. And then it's odd because I host a big cookie party every year.
She makes us bake like 3 dozen cookies, if not more, right?
No, it was 8.
8 dozen. See, I lost track.
Chris will bring you a tray. All right.
Yes.
But it was it's a big competition. But I think I like hosting that because I don't like baking cookies. So I just try everybody else's.
Break all the cookies. No, that was such a fun party though that you do during the holidays.
I love it. And then we do like the give back for Great Oaks Village, which, we always love to do that. Keaton's grandpa was very passionate about that. He really helped establish a lot of that.
Sweet.
So, we like to do the give back stuff, and it's good for the kids to see it. They love to wrap all the gifts and help out, So, but yeah, the kitchen I think is like a key thing.
My thing is like I like the kitchen clean at all times. Like I want it candlelit. I don't want it to smell like food. Like that's why I hate cooking. And I feel like that would make it a mess. Like my house is always like I need to have it like very clean, very organized. And it's not always like that. But I think that to me mentally puts a block on me in general as a functioning human being. Like if I wake up in the morning and I see there's like Amazon boxes by the door, the kids' homework is laid out, it's not organized, their backpacks are thrown, like it just throws me for a loop. And I'm like, okay, let me regroup my brain and let's like wrap around this and let's organize everything. If I can live in a home edit catalog or, the home edit where they have like everything color coordinated with a label, that would be like my safe space. I would love that. But realistically, that's just not realistic when you have 2 kids. You know what I mean?
But it also gives me like a little bit of anxiety because then it's like if something's out of place, then I feel like I'm failing.
Oh, no.
I like a little bit of organization.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if there's packages and I don't get to it, I'm like, whatever.
No, I'm like, get them out.
For me, I'm more of the kids' backpacks need to be right. Like they know Your backpack needs to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Water bottle in the sink.
Yeah.
Get your snack for tomorrow, whatever that looks like, and pick out your clothes. I started having them pick out their own clothes.
Okay. Do you do that on Sundays, like a Sunday reset, or they just do it
like
every
that
day?
Night when they're each taking turns, like in the shower. When one is out, I'm like, okay, as you're getting dressed, like get your clothes for tomorrow.
Okay, so they can be ready for the day.
Yeah, Callie wants to just like wear Halloween costumes. I'm like, you can't wear that to school.
A princess costume to school.
A firefighter. Like she just wants to wear all the costumes. Yeah. I'm like, that's not what we're wearing. But I wanted them to have more responsibility because with her especially, I will pick out her stuff and then she'll be like, then it's a fight the next morning. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no.
See, my biggest struggle is getting my daughter because she's very she has very long legs. And I'm like, you cannot wear that to school because her shorts are so short because she wears like literally a 4T, 5T and she's 8. She's just so tiny. And I'm like, girlfriend, no. So that's the fight that I have with her every morning.
Right.
But my son, he's fine. He doesn't care. He'll like throw whatever's on as long as it fits. He's like rocking it.
Yeah.
But I do understand the process of organizing yourself. Like Sunday resets are so amazing. It like resets your brain, resets the kids with their chores. Like, did they pack their stuff for school the next day? Did they get their binder signed by a parent? Did they, whatever.
I'm also really bad though at unpacking after a tournament.
Oh, that's the worst.
Like when you come back on Sunday, trophy or not, I have zero effort to want to
unload the car,
unload the cooler.
Yeah.
Unload the car, wash the white pants. I literally just like leave it. I just leave it in the mudroom or in the garage.
Sit for a while.
Just like the next day, I'll be like, all right, That's why sometimes on Mondays, I don't even go to practice because I just need to like
just a reset.
Catch up, do some laundry, like especially when I'm gone all weekend and just do that little bit, freshen up. But it's exhausting.
It is exhausting. I mean,
do you unpack on Sunday?
No.
Okay, good.
I
feel better.
No, I don't. And so I carry normally everything in like my little bog bag. Yeah. I'll bring that down and I'll just like leave it in the corner. I won't really look at it until like the following week that I need a tournament. And then I'll prep it the night before with like, make sure I have ice packs and the Band-Aids and like the snacks and everything else. But no, I mean, I can't. Even like when we travel, like my luggage can sit there for a couple days and I'm just like, out. Like I can't mentally I've been better. At it just because like I said, if it's not organized, it drives me crazy. But it gets to the point sometimes where I'm just like, I'm exhausted.
Right.
To like think about, I have to unpack and then I have to do the laundry, like you said, the pants and their uniform. It's a lot.
It's a lot. So I just sometimes like leave it. I'm like, it'll just sit there and like there's no harm.
No harm, no foul.
Right. And just like call it a day. And then I have to like clean out my car. I feel like after a tournament weekend, the next morning before I like go and do anything, I just run through the car wash.
Yeah. We go in my husband's car, so my husband's like, whatever. If it was mine, I'd be like, we're going to vacuum it, detail it, all the things. But my husband, he's like, it's, this is the truck. Like, this is the truck. This is what it's for. And he'll leave all the clay in there for a while.
Oh, no.
We got to wash this.
No.
Key
and I, like, he even has, like, I got him, like, a mini vacuum from Amazon.
Does he use it?
Yeah, he actually does.
Does he?
He'll make the kids vacuum out his car. They love it.
Okay. Well, yeah, because it's fun. Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, do your thing. But even my car, because of all the clay and the food.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Fun Dip is not allowed.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fun Dip.
I just have to clean it out because I just need the break.
Yeah.
Of normalcy. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
I feel like it's important to do.
Also, Grayson's equipment smells.
Does it really? Do you clean it with something? Because he's a catcher.
So we started power washing it, and then we started using that it's like Arm & Hammer odor spray.
Okay.
Because he's like sweating in it.
Yeah, of course.
But hot. I use that same spray for the kids' shoes.
Oh, I think he told me about that.
But it's like an indoor. It's indoor. Oh my goodness. It's like inside for the shoes, not the outside spray.
No. I bought the one that you told me.
Yeah.
So Rachel told me about getting one for it's an Arm & Hammer spray because I was telling her that Brayden's little feet. I mean, he's only 6, but his little feet smell when he takes them off. I'm like, oh, buddy, why? So I spray his little shoes with that stuff, and it's been a game changer.
It works.
It works 100%. So that's smart that you're doing that for the equipment. I'm hoping that that helps a little bit.
I do,
or even the inside of the bag.
Yeah, I just spray it because I'm like it doesn't. I don't know. It just kind of makes it fresh.
Yeah.
And when the stuff sits in my car, it starts to smell after a while. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I put a little of that. Works like a charm.
That's interesting.
And they have different scents. Like, you don't have to pick like an actual, like Grayson doesn't like a powdery feminine scent.
No,
he
wants
just
probably
has
like a clean linen or something like that.
So he just has like a clean one. But the other thing I wanted to chat about today, which I thought was unique, is I'm going to read to you what Grayson's teacher sent. She sent like a little like newsletter about homework.
Ooh, okay.
And I want to get your
Homework's
opinion.
a big one.
I want to get your opinion about it. So she's great. If you can't tell, I'm obsessed with her as a teacher. She's like the type of teacher that, you know how you like think about teachers and education growing up, like there's always that one teacher that like stood out to you. She's going to be like, I feel like this for Grayson.
Sweet.
So it says homework is usually given Friday and collected the following Friday to be checked for completion only. I do not send homework back graded for correctness, nor do we review it in class unless your child has a specific question. It is my belief that the school day is long enough work day for elementary age children, and when they come home, there are plenty of real-world learning opportunities such as unstructured play, quality family conversations and game nights, completing chores, and engaging in extracurriculars like sports and the arts. I will provide additional homework upon request for those families who would like more.
I love that.
What do you think about all that?
I love that. I think that's beautiful that a teacher recognizes that. Let a child be a child and let them be able to experience other things in life other than homework and schoolwork. I think that's really good.
I also do think, and it depends on your child, I do think sometimes homework is just busy work.
Oh, it is 100%.
I would
not
rather,
just for the kids, but also for the parents.
Right. And she has said, you know, Grayson, I've talked about his situation. He's on a 504 plan. He has dyslexia. He needs a little extra push and help with reading. So she'll even send stuff specifically catered for him. Like, hey, he needs a little more help here, a little more guidance here.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But just to send home a packet, just to keep them, it to me is just not useful.
Overwhelming. It's overwhelming. They're at school so much time throughout the day. But not only that, but I feel like that's just not realistic. Homework is great. Like if you said, if your child is struggling, needs a little extra help at home, like that's different and that's understandable. But there's just no time for homework, to be honest with you, between school hours, then you have parents work, and then you have to come home. Then you get ready for practice. You don't come home till 9, 8 o'clock at night. Like, with what time?
Right. I thought that was just such a unique perspective, and I wanted to bring it on the podcast to talk about it because I think there are some parents that truly just like homework. Like they
think there's parents that like homework?
100%.
Stop. There's no way.
No, I'm serious.
We want to meet you.
There was at Callie's school, there was a VPK teacher that said, I will not send home homework. There was like a Zoom call to introduce her, and she like talked about her practices, and like she was like, I don't send home homework unless I feel like your child needs help, more help in an area.
Yeah.
And there was parents on there upset and were like, I want my kid to have a packet every week of things to do.
Oh no, poor babies.
So I think it really just depends on the parent. To me, this is a very realistic approach for homework.
Agreed.
I also feel like the kids are at school all day. You don't want them to not like school.
Yeah.
Let them have a little free time. Let them play sports. Let them do other things.
Yeah.
You know, even the other night, the kids had their scooters. We went to go check the mail, took the dog out for a walk. It's just sometimes nice to not
think of something you need to do, a task that needs to be done. I feel like every day we wake up with like, we're so task oriented, right? I need to do this. There's always like a checklist, at least in my brain. There's always a checklist. Like I need to do this. Did I respond to this? You know, it's just a constant. There's no shutting down your brain. Like there's really not. And I think that's like the biggest struggle, not only as moms, but like even for our kids can't shut down everything if they have thinking, oh, I have a project. Like you had Grayson's project, then you're like, I'm stuck here all weekend working on this project. First of all, that wasn't a project for him. That was a project for me. Oh yeah, Exactly, because it becomes your responsibility.
It becomes my responsibility, but also I don't trust him with a hot glue gun.
Thanks.
And some of the stuff to that they, I had to read the book with him because it basically was a book report, which I don't mind reading with him. But then we had to basically write a summary, questions. I had to do it really side by side with him. It wasn't just something as a project that he could just take on and do it on his own. And then he had to make a pumpkin that resembled one of the characters in the book.
Yeah.
It was just...
That's a lot.
It was a lot, on top of spelling, homework. And I do like that she says, you get your homework on Friday and it's collected the following Friday. Because it's like, if I have a tournament weekend, then I'm not super pressed to get it done. And then if we don't have a tournament, it's just done before the weekend's over. Yeah. You know what like, and I tell Grayson all the time, I'll be like, what do you have to do? Mm-hmm. You can watch TV or you can do whatever you want, or we can go ahead and just get this done now. Yeah. Because I'm trying to because I sometimes can be a little bit of a procrastinator.
Are you?
Like a little bit. Just if
I would have never thought
if a big task requires a lot of my attention, I need to like block
mentally
everything
be
else
ready
and like
to tackle it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I sometimes can be like that. So I tell him all the time, I'm like, you just don't know. Like, what if one of your friends messages, or is knocking at your front door and is like, hey, I want to play. Do you want to be available to play? Or am I going to have to be the bad parent and say, well, you have homework. So pick your choice. Like, either do it now, just get it over with. And, he's starting to get that. And I always tell him all the time, you just don't know what the next day is going to bring. If you can do it now, just get it over with.
Get it over with. Yeah.
And the homework that he has is not... It was like math sheets. He was done in literally 10 minutes. I'm like, see, now you're done. Like, you're done for the whole week. I'm not going to bother you.
Yeah. I think it's going to get harder, though, as the kids get older and, they have, more responsibilities. Like, wait till they get middle school and they don't just have one teacher. They have, 7 teachers. And there's, you have to study for the history test. And you have to do your language arts essay. And then you have... It's going to be a lot. So I feel like if they're young enough to just be kids, like elementary school, maybe 5th grade, I can see where there's a little bit more responsibility with your workload and stuff, because that is unfortunately that's real life. Right. But I think just let your kids be kids and just let them enjoy. They've already studied, they're learning, they're getting great grades. You don't need to bombard that at home. But I do think the stresses of being a mom is just... It's a lot. We just got to we're all in it together. Like they say, it takes a village. If I need something, I know that you're there to help, or if I have other mom friends that are there to help. We just got to lean on each other and we're going to get it done. Yeah. I also had to learn the hard way. It's okay to ask for help. Yeah. I used to sometimes struggle with that as a mom. I just, sometimes and I'll even just drop Grayson off and I just go back home. Yeah. Because there's stuff I got to get done. Yeah. I can't sit there every practice. But I also love doing it. I love sitting there and just chatting up with the moms and just enjoying that time. Yeah. So I've learned to be a little more forgiving just with myself. And it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to also not have everything together. Yeah. Because they don't know it. I mean... They don't know any better, and they're just having fun anyway. So they do. No, but I mean, I feel like this is such a good topic that we shared about, the stresses of being a mom and trying to balance it all, and we're in it together. Awesome. Love you. Love you. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to another podcast episode, and make sure you follow and subscribe. Thanks so much, guys.